Hello, it's Darren from Grills Plants here in Cornwall in the UK. Talking about saving seeds and creating more plants from saving your own seeds from your own plants that you've let gone to seed in your garden. So we'll start with this one here. This is called lavatera. Now it's a long process because this plant now is 12 months old. You can see it's still not that very big, but by year 2 it's going to be ready to be planted in the garden. I apologise, Olive's just laid an egg and doing the bucks. Do you know what? I'm going to carry on. You're going to hear Olive, one of our Bansums, giving the egg song in the background. So, lavatera. So this plant isn't quite 12 months old yet, actually. But these were seeds saved from a lavatera plant. Let me show you that lavatera plant. So this mighty tool is a lavatera plant. So this is what potentially those little seeds that I germinated less than a year ago will eventually be a plant like this. It's coming to its end of its cycle for flowering. See, the flowers are right on the end, but if you came here in June, July and into middle of August, this would have been abundance with flowers. Obviously a bit less now. So height wise, this plant is going to grow to, well, nearly the high as my garage. So what am I? I'm 6 foot. So it's easy about 7 to 8 foot tall, this plant. So here we are up close to this lavatera plant, which is now forming the seed pods. So each one of these little pods is going to be full of seeds, black little seeds. So it'll be very soon now. I mean, with the 11th of September when I'm making this video here in the UK. So I would say another couple of weeks I'm going to be snipping these seed heads off just sort of about there, and then just resting it in a plastic tray with the lid off, somewhere cool but dry, and that's how I'm just going to leave it during the winter. And then maybe come January, February time, then that's when I'm going to basically pick this up out of the container, give it a good shake, and most of the seeds will come out, and then just sort of prise them open a bit more and you'll get a few more seeds. And then come maybe early March, then I'm going to be sowing these, barely covering the seeds with a lavatera. And by now, which is September the 11th, the one I showed you earlier, which was sown, that was sown in March. It's going to take a long time to get to a plant of this size, but not as long as you think. You know, 2 years is going to be 3 foot, maybe 3-4 years it's going to be 6-7 foot. And then what you do is cut them down during the winter. We cut them down 3/4 way down and let them go again next spring. So here's a close-up of what the flowers look like, but obviously we've got a few more flowers to go to get to the end. But obviously when you look at most of the branches, this branch here is where seed pods are now, which would have been, this would have all been flowers. So yeah, it's worthwhile. And you see it's coming to the end of its cycle there. Yeah, Olive's still at it. So that's how easy it is. Just so we don't want it to be a dry environment to collect the seeds. Yeah, let them mature a bit. Open, you know, an open container. Give them a shake in spring, or late winter, early spring. And you can do this with things like lavatera. I'll show you a few other things I've done with collecting seeds from the garden. So you don't always have to buy packets of seeds from garden centres or retailers online. Yeah, you can. But you can get plants very much for free, just a bit of compost and an old pot you had lying around. So this is new comfrey plants which are establishing, and this came all about by just saving the comfrey seeds. Saved about 30 seeds, and as you can see I've got quite a few come up already, and these were only sown on the 28th of August, and it's now the 11th of September. So in the period from when it was sown, as you can see, I've got new plants coming. So comfrey, yeah, comfrey is brilliant for your garden. People talk about it being evasive. I don't like the word evasive. What I would suggest to you, if you're looking at growing comfrey, look for one called Bok 14 or one called Russian comfrey, which is basically the same thing as Bok 14. That is less evasive, but you're still able to extract the seeds. As I said, the seeds were extracted, I think on the 27th of August, and these were sowed on the 28th of August, and as you can see, 11th of December, so no time at all, and we have some more new plants there from comfrey. So there you go, another one you can do. Chives. So let the chive flowers go to seed. They go brown, and when you can see the seeds have gone black, that's when time to snip those seed pods off. And in no time at all, we have got some new chive plants establishing here out of saving seeds from your own garden. So these were sown on the 17th of July this year, and today again is the 11th of September. So in that period of time, I basically extracted the black little seeds, because you were looking for the seeds which are black in colour, because that means they're mature. And as you can see, literally in less than 2 months, we have some new chive plants here. For what? Bit of compost, bit of effort, not much more. Another one you can do with any form of evening primrose. So again, this was sowed on the 10th of July, again 11th of September today. So I've got a new plant which will flower next year, evening primrose. These are the yellow ones, traditional ones, but you can do the same with the sort of more vibrant ones where you can get the oranges and reds. They'll do exactly the same if you just extract the seeds, make sure they're nice and dark in colour, browny black colour, and they will give you new plants. I mean, how many plants have I got here from that? I've got 6, 12, 18 plants from one little seed pod. Now in the UK we call this common name is granny's bonnet. This is the last one I'm going to show you. So granny's bonnet this is another one where we let the seed heads mature, we snipped them off, we gave them a shake into a bag or into a container, and then sow the seeds. You don't even cover these seeds. So this is granny's bonnet. What's the real name? It's called Aquilegia, and I think in some areas of the world they call it, is it Colombian? I ain't sure, but anyway, we call it granny's bonnet. So this is a sort of late spring flower which will flower next spring. They're almost like what we call biannual, so yeah, these will flower next year. So there we are, I've got a whole rack of plants here, all grown from seeds from my own garden. No purchase seeds whatsoever, so give it a try. You've got nothing to lose, you know. It will probably work out for you, like it did me. Just remember, make sure the seeds are brown, black, nice and hard. Sow more than what you need, because you might get less germination rate with your own seeds. And yeah, you know, Google's a wonderful thing, because if you're wondering about, you know, how deep the seeds should be when you're sowing it, should the seed be covered, does it need daylight, just ask Google, because Google will tell you all this. So we are growing your own plants, yeah, from your own seeds.